Have you ever walked away from an argument with a narcissist, feeling completely unheard, invalidated, and even more frustrated than when you started? You're not alone. Narcissists often employ toxic arguing techniques designed to manipulate, control, and ultimately win at all costs, leaving you feeling emotionally drained and questioning your own sanity. Today, we're diving into 5 toxic arguing techniques narcissists use and how you can handle them. These tactics can be incredibly damaging to your emotional well-being and the health of the relationship. But knowledge is power. By the end of this video, you'll know how to identify these techniques and the best ways to deal with them. Remember, awareness is the first step in protecting yourself and setting healthy boundaries. One of the most common and insidious tactics a narcissist will use during an argument is to minimize your feelings. They may tell you that you're overreacting, being too sensitive, or making a big deal out of nothing. They might even roll their eyes or sigh dramatically as you try to express yourself. This tactic is designed to make you question your own emotions and invalidate your experiences. It's a way for the narcissist to maintain control over the situation and avoid taking any responsibility for their actions. Think about it this way. When someone minimizes your feelings, they are essentially saying that your emotions are not valid, that your experiences don't matter. This can be incredibly hurtful and damaging to your self-esteem, especially if it's a pattern in the relationship. Here's an example. Imagine you're upset because your partner forgot your anniversary. You try to explain how hurt and disappointed you feel, but instead of offering a genuine apology, they respond with, "Come on, it's just one day. You're blowing this way out of proportion." In this scenario, your partner is minimizing your distress by trivializing the situation and making you feel silly for being upset. This is a classic narcissistic tactic to deflect responsibility and avoid genuine accountability. So, how do you handle this? The key is to stand firm in your experience. Don't let them dismiss your feelings. Calmly and assertively reiterate your point. You might say something like, "I understand you see it that way, but this is important to me, and it hurts that you forgot. Remember, you have a right to your feelings, and it's not your responsibility to shrink yourself to make someone else feel more comfortable." Don't be afraid to set boundaries and walk away from the conversation if the invalidation continues. You deserve to be heard and respected. Narcissists are masters of blame shifting. They have an uncanny ability to twist situations, rewrite history, and somehow make you the villain in their narrative. In their minds, nothing is ever their fault, and they'll go to great lengths to avoid taking responsibility for their actions. This tactic can be incredibly frustrating and confusing because it leaves you feeling defensive and like you're constantly walking on eggshells. You might even start questioning your own memory and judgment, wondering if you really are to blame for the problems in the relationship. Here's a common example. Let's say you confront your narcissistic partner about a broken promise. Instead of acknowledging their mistake and apologizing, they might turn it around on you and say something like, "Well, if you hadn't been so demanding, I wouldn't have forgotten in the first place." See how they shifted the blame? Suddenly, it's your fault for having expectations or expressing your needs. This is a classic manipulation tactic designed to make you feel guilty and responsible for their shortcomings. So, how do you handle this? First and foremost, don't buy into the blame. Remember, you know your truth. Don't engage in circular arguments or try to defend yourself against baseless accusations. Instead, calmly and assertively reiterate your original point. You might say something like, Whether or not you feel pressured is a separate issue. The fact is, you made a promise and you didn't keep it. That's what we need to address. By staying focused on the facts and refusing to accept responsibility for their actions, you can maintain your ground and avoid getting caught in their web of manipulation. Gaslighting is one of the most insidious forms of emotional manipulation. It's a tactic used to make you doubt your own sanity, memory, and perception of reality. Narcissists use gaslighting to gain power and control by making you question your own judgment. This can be incredibly damaging to your self-esteem and mental well-being. It's a slow and subtle form of manipulation that leaves you feeling confused and insecure. Imagine you and your partner are getting ready for a party. You remember them saying they would pick up the wine, but they haven't. When you remind them, they might say, "I never said that. You must be imagining things." This makes you question if you really did hear them say that. Over time, these instances can chip away at your confidence. So, how do you handle gaslighting? Trust your gut. If something doesn't feel right, you're probably right. Document these instances. Write down what happened and how it made you feel. This helps you see the pattern of manipulation. Seek outside validation from trusted friends, family, or a therapist. Talking to someone you trust can help you gain perspective. Remember, gaslighting is abuse, and you deserve to be in a relationship where your reality is respected. Now, let's discuss ridiculing. Narcissists often use ridicule as a weapon to undermine your confidence and make you feel small. They might make fun of your appearance, your intelligence, your opinions, or anything else they think they can use to gain the upper hand. This tactic is designed to make you feel insecure and ashamed, ultimately silencing you and making you less likely to challenge them in the future. What makes ridicule so effective is that it often comes disguised as humor. The narcissist might say something hurtful and then follow it up with, "I'm just kidding, can't you take a joke?" This creates a confusing dynamic where you're not sure if you should be genuinely upset or if you're just being overly sensitive. Let's say you're sharing a personal story with your partner and they interrupt you with a sarcastic comment about your outfit or something you said. When you express your hurt, they might respond with, "Oh, lighten up. I'm just teasing you. Don't be so serious." This is a classic example of how ridicule can be used to dismiss your feelings and make you question your own perceptions. So, how do you handle ridicule? The key is to recognize it for what it is, a form of emotional abuse. Don't buy into the idea that you're too sensitive or that you need to toughen up. You have a right to your feelings, and it's not okay for someone to make you feel bad about yourself. Set clear boundaries and let the narcissist know that their behavior is unacceptable. You might say something like, "I don't find that funny. It's hurtful, and I'm asking you to stop." If they continue to ridicule you, don't hesitate to disengage from the conversation or walk away. You deserve to be treated with respect, and you don't have to tolerate being the butt of their jokes. Last on the list is deflecting. Have you ever noticed how a narcissist can hijack a conversation, turning it into a platform for their own grievances, or completely changing the subject? This is called deflecting, a tactic to avoid accountability and keep the focus off themselves. Deflection can manifest in various ways. They might bring up irrelevant details or accuse you of the very thing they're guilty of. The goal is to create confusion and shift the blame. For example, imagine you're discussing your partner's constant lateness. Instead of acknowledging the issue, they might accuse you of being impatient. Notice how they've shifted the focus away from their behavior. This is deflection in action. It's a way to avoid taking responsibility. So, how do you handle deflection? Stay focused on the original topic. Don't get sidetracked by their attempts to derail the conversation. Calmly steer the conversation back to the issue at hand. You might say, "I understand you're busy, but that's not what we're talking about right now. We're talking about your habit of being late. Remember, you have a right to be heard." Don't let them dismiss your feelings. Stay persistent and set boundaries if they continue to deflect. You can take back control when you stay calm. Recognizing these toxic arguing techniques is the first step in protecting yourself from narcissistic manipulation. Remember, you deserve to be in relationships where you feel heard, respected, and valued. Don't allow yourself to be subjected to these tactics. Comment below with your thoughts on this topic and what actions you will take first. Share your experiences, insights, and any strategies you've found helpful in dealing with these situations. Your voice can make a difference in helping others navigate these challenging dynamics. And don't forget to subscribe as we continue our series on narcissism. We'll be exploring more red flags, delving into the psychology behind this behavior, and equipping you with the tools and knowledge you need to protect yourself and thrive.